Boom!
There we go.
Rock and roll.
Nice.
Dope. Okay. So
So let's start from the top.
we'll start from the top. I have
Whatever you're
zero
willing to
people.
share.
Yeah, I have zero people in here right now, but I think doesn't TikTok automatically save these things?
It does, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'll probably end up posting this somewhere. What's up, Marty? Good to see you. So we're going to talk about the time a little over 5 years ago where I almost went bankrupt because I was an irresponsible credit card user, irresponsible debt taker honor, and I did not have a stable job. I thought I had a stable job, but I did not. What's up, Jonathan? Good to see you, brother. About 5 years ago, I was working at Walmart in management. I had six or seven. I've already forgotten 6 or 7 credit cards that were pretty close to being maxed out or maxed out. I had a consolidation loan that had consolidated all of that debt together, and then I ran up those credit cards again, just being irresponsible, buying stuff that I didn't need. I also had a car loan, and then, like, of course, like at the height of all of this debt, I lose my job. I get fired because I did some stupid stuff at Walmart, and they let me go, and they
Man.
rightfully did.
Yeah. What
A
do you
big
think your
learning
total
experience.
payments were by that time?
Oh God! So the car was just under $300 a month. That much I do remember.
Okay.
And I know all of the credit cards had a minimum payment of at least $100. I think I think the City card was close to 300.
Okay.
The Discover card, that was my next biggest limit. That was like around 200.
Okay.
So if I had to guess, including my car payment, my loan payment, and then all of my credit cards together, I was probably making minimum payments of $1,300 to $1,600 a month, if I had to guess. As a manager at Walmart, I wasn't making terrible money, but I was not making enough money for that. So I was barely
What was your
scraping by.
income? What was your income back then?
My
Like
income
maybe
at Walmart was 45 a year, and it was salary. I could not tell you what the tax rate was, but it was Florida. 40. I can't even think about what the math was.
just a sec. I'm gonna get my light so it's not so bad. Is that okay if I kind of like draw it out?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool. Can you see that by the way, or is that too far? I could slide it closer.
I can see it. So
Okay.
it's good for me. I'm not sure about the viewers, but if I can see it, my blind ass can see it. I'm sure they can.
Perfect. I see there's some glares in there, so I'm gonna try to help that just a little bit. That might be
Andy,
a little bit better. So
Keith,
income
was
is that like
45 a year.
Okay.
I was in management over the online grocery department.
Let's do monthly. So gross, it was 45, right?
Yep.
So gross, it's at 45. So if we divide that by 12, it's 37.50.
That sounds about right.
And then from there, I mean, if we lessed out taxes and everything else, we could probably just take out 20% maybe. Were you doing 401k at the time?
I was, yeah.
Maybe like 5% to 401k?
Walmart matched, at that time, Walmart matched 4%.
Okay,
so I contributed 4.
Okay, so let's do, if we lessed out at 37.50, we just less out 20% for tax. So we'd do like 37.50 times 0.2. We could probably say tax, I'm just doing 20% effective rate at minus 750. And then we have 401k at, we'll call it 4%. So 3750 times 4% is 150. And then maybe there's like other deductions like healthcare and stuff. We could just call it other. And that's usually somewhere in the ballpark of like maybe 4%. So we could maybe take another 150 off. So I mean 3750 minus 300 minus 750. So take home what actually hit your bank account. Do you think it was like 2,700 a month?
That is almost spot on from what I can remember because I was pulling in. I know that basically I calculated it out. One paycheck was like getting eaten away by my debts. So
Wow.
that's
So the debt was almost 1,400.
yeah.
Wow. So just debt
God, that's insane. Oh my God.
was 1,400. That's almost 50% of your take home.
Yeah.
Dang, dude. And that's probably not including rent, right?
Correct. I was at $500 in rent.
So now you have 1,300 bucks left over for rent and everything.
Yeah.
Dude, you were just treading water, right? I mean, just trying to keep your head above.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that this was a problem, which is why it
Right.
became such a big problem.
Wow.
Oh, Dr. Brad, Dr. Brad says, "OMG, I just stumbled into Goat University." Freaking love you, Dr. Brad.
Let's go. Dr. B's the man.
Dr. Brad, we're getting down into like I've never done this. I have tried not to think about the past with going bankrupt since it happened. I
Mm-hmm.
have never looked into the math behind how horrible in debt I was.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's so tough. I mean, who can live off 1,300 for rent, food, groceries, entertainment, everything? That's
Yeah,
that's not possible.
yeah, and I kept doing it because I did not know how bad I was. I was in the hole because like I had.
Right.
Oh Jesus Christ, Brad! Why are you doing this to me?
Brad sent that?
Yeah, Brad. Brad put this hat and mustache on me.
That is hilarious. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Um,
Dude, so what story, how does the story change?
so the story changes in May of 17. I get fired and I realize I am up the freaking creek.
Yeah.
I have no college education, no finished college education. I have no degree.
Yeah.
The only skill that I have is working retail, customer service, which is decent to have, but gets you nowhere,
Right.
unfortunately, if you are that far in the hole.
Yeah.
Um, sure, I was in management and I had management experience, but getting a management position in a retail setting is really difficult unless you are actively working in it, which I no longer was, or you have rapport with the company that you're advancing in. That's
Yeah.
how I moved up in Walmart. Like I killed it in Walmart. It was great. Like they loved me
Yeah.
because I dedicated my life to that, which we'll get into later. Was not a good move. Um, but yeah, I mean that was the moment the glass shattered, and I was like, oh, I'm in trouble, and I'm in a lot of trouble.
Dang, man. So
And
so now that you had that happen, like how did you, pull yourself up from your bootstraps? Did you just find a new job ASAP, or what was the next step?
I took a lot of odd jobs. I did Uber to fill those gaps.
Okay.
Um, and unfortunately, I defaulted on every single one of my debts except my car loan.
Wow.
So I went from like, even though my credit cards was uh, my credit utilization was super high, I still had really high limits on everything. I was making my payments on time. Like I was doing everything else right. I had
Okay.
like the highest I think my credit score ever got was like 780 something. So like
Yeah.
my credit this is why I thought I was doing everything right and why education is so important. Because like my credit score said, "Oh, you're doing awesome, dude." I wasn't doing awesome because like the smallest thing crushed it.
Yeah.
So I swore off debt entirely. I took the Ramsey method. I started to try to repay these debts, but it was just not enough. I wasn't making enough, and I had to make sure that I still had food and a place to live and transportation.
Yeah.
Like the real main reason that I made sure that my car loan kept getting paid was because my grandmother was attached to it. She co-signed for me, and there was no way I was going to break that.
Yeah.
Um, so I just defaulted on everything. I
Yeah.
ruined my credit, ruined my financial future, at least for the short term, just to make sure that everything else got taken care of. I still have a ruined relationship with Chase Bank and with Citibank, and that's just how it is. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I have attempted to right those wrongs, but they literally will not even talk to me. the debts, the debt's been sold, um, so it's in whatever collections company has them now.
Okay.
And I'm just not even worried about it now because like
Yeah.
I've started building rapport with other banks, other credit unions. American Express is now my best friend. I'm their
Good.
best friend.
Yeah.
Um, and I took the Ramsey method. I made sure that I did not go into further debt. And I did. I swore off credit cards for forever. Um, I learned about investing, and for the
Mm-hmm.
past 5 years, I've just made sure to learn as much as I can.
Yeah.
I realized that swearing off debt entirely was not. It works for a lot of people. It works for a ton of people. Ramsey and his students are great examples of that. Um, for me, and I think the average American, it just doesn't work out. And like swearing off debt entirely just doesn't work out. Um, you've got to have a house. You've got to have a car. Uh, and most people are going to use debt to purchase those things, and that's okay as long as
Yep.
you're doing it responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I realized I've got to do something about my credit. That is, my score is now down in the low 400s. I've got to get this thing back up.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
so what do you think of now that I mean, you're a bright dude and kind of accidentally found yourself into that trap and have since then turned it around in an unbelievably special way.
God, was that Brad?
Yeah. He must have just jumped into mine and sent that.
I love that. This is why we
um,
love Dr. Brad.
absolutely. So it really just took away my special question moment there. I kind of almost lost my train of thought here, but I was gonna ask, like, you've like made like a full circle here. Like, what would you recommend, or even like kind of say to people who are maybe starting to accidentally, without even knowing it, get themselves into some credit card issue, and maybe they're not like they're doing it like trying to find rewards and trying to find points, and like that's my beef with the credit card companies is that wealthy people who pay their cards off every month get the points.
Right.
Broke people who accidentally made a mistake or made just had one bad issue, lost their job one time, end up paying 20% interest so that you and I can fly for free. And I guess where do you kind of fall in kind of like the recommendations of people, because you do obviously have some great recommendations on cards and how to use points in a healthy way.
My biggest piece of like red flag warning is if you are paying any interest at all on credit cards, you're doing it wrong.
Boom.
Let's find out why you're doing it wrong so that we can fix the problem so that you no longer are making that mistake. Is it because you're trying to rack up and spend as much as you can on these to hit your sign up bonuses, or gain these points that you're going to use for something else later? I love you, Dr. Brad. Crazy Jay, it's good to see you. I hate to get run off here, but Brad said he's leaving. Crazy Jay just said he's here.
See you, Dr. B.
Stephanie's here. Much love to all of you. I love seeing you guys here.
And I appreciate Crypto Cash Flow here, asking some really good questions I'll have to follow up with on you.
Dope. But yeah, if you're paying any interest at all on your credit cards, you're doing it wrong. You should not be paying any interest at all. So if you're trying to rack up those points, why are you? Oh, my cousin Cody's here too. What's up, Cody? If you're earning these rewards, why are you sacrificing? You're killing your rewards by paying interest. Like, you literally flush every bit of rewards you've gotten down the tub, down the drain, down the toilet, if you're paying any interest. So what's going on? Let's find the root of the problem. Is it a spending problem? Or are you a shopaholic? Because that's the case too. A lot of people use retail as therapy. They don't call it retail therapy for nothing. Colin, I love that you have a whiteboard and that you're writing this stuff down. That's phenomenal.
Do not pay interest.
Ever. Literally ever. And then, if for most people it just boils down to spending more than they have because they don't view it as actual money.
Oh, so basically you're saying watch out for spending more than what you normally would.
Yeah, because and this is something I agree with Dave Ramsey on. People overspend on their credit cards because they don't see that money leave their bank account. That is me. I have a spending problem. How do I fix it? Find out. This comes down to a psychological issue that I've talked to a lot with Dr. Brad. It's like you're filling a void in your life by spending. What is the void that you're using money to fill?
Right.
It takes a lot of self-reflection, and that's not an easy thing to do. It's a very uncomfortable thing to do that most people would rather just go out and spend instead of do some self-reflection. So what is the hole you're trying to plug with money? And that's an uncomfortable conversation to have with yourself or others.
You know what's so interesting, Seth, is that when I start my meetings with clients, I have what I call the priorities meeting. And the first question I usually ask is, after I get to know them a little bit, I want to understand, who their family is. I usually ask questions like, when's the last time that you spent money and you really enjoyed it and it was absolutely worth it? And then when's the time that you spent money and it was maybe not worth it? You wish you could take that money back, and kind of getting to know some of those habits. And then I start asking goal questions of, if all of your expenses were taken care of, let's say you won the lottery and you had enough money to cover all of your needs now and for the rest of your life, how would you spend your time? And that's a way different way to ask a question than to say, what are your goals? What are you going to do in retirement? Usually the answer is, I don't know. And Dr. B will say that too. One of the worst questions you can ask someone is, what are your goals? It's so open-ended. It's so difficult. We don't know. But if you start asking, if you won $1 million and you had to spend it, what would you spend it on? Or if you had an unlimited income stream, you don't have to worry about your needs anymore. You can just do whatever you want all day. What would your day look like?
What a phenomenal way to frame that.
And the reason, and usually people are like, did I just sign up for therapy? I thought you were a financial planner. And it's like, yeah, but money touches every part of your life.
Everything. So
my whole point of that is that you're mentioning self-reflection. We're talking about credit card rewards points. How the hell did we get there?
Right. It's all connected.
Yes. Yeah, it really, really is. Money touches every part of your life. So if we're just talking about 401ks, IRAs, credit card rewards points, FICO score, we're probably missing the bigger picture.
Crazy
So
Jay says, if I win $1 million, my day will be on the phone with Seth. Don't be on the phone with me. I'm not a financial planner. Call Colin.
we'll co-host it just like this.
That works for me.
So we got some good insights on the credit card rewards, or just credit card rules. Let's keep going on your story here because I'm curious how I want to have a happy ending.
Yeah, absolutely. Boy, does it have I think this has the best ending to any bankruptcy story there is.
Let's go.
So yeah, Seth is crawling his way out of this hole that he's put himself in. He made another bad mistake and hired, was it Freedom Debt Relief? FDR, yes, it was Freedom Debt Relief. And I was like, hey, can you help me? Because I couldn't get a consolidation loan for any of this stuff because I was so far defaulted. And they advertised themselves as a debt consolidation company that did not need a credit score. And I was like, that's amazing. No, horrible decision. What they have you do is they have you stop communication with the banks altogether, change all of your information over to their contact information, so that whenever a debt collector calls, they get connected with Freedom Debt Relief, and then Freedom Debt Relief tries to negotiate your credit card payment or your credit card debt as a whole with those people, so that they settle for a less amount, and you end up paying them a fee for negotiating that for you.
Yeah.
So don't go with any of those. Freedom Debt Relief, National Debt Relief, any of these debt relief places that advertise themselves as debt consolidation that isn't a loan, that's not real debt consolidation. Stay away from them.
Wow.
Just a tangent that I needed to go off on there because that's another huge mistake that I made. So I go through that program for about 2 years, and by the time I realized it was a mistake, it was, after I had realized that I do need credit again. I need to get myself more financially literate. I've got to figure out what's going on with my life. So it was early 2019. I ended up getting a job at the largest federal credit union in the world. They're one of the only credit unions that services worldwide. You can deduce who that is if you'd like. It's not really integral to the story. And I worked there for a while. The pandemic happens, and I'm mainly servicing vehicle loans. I work all types of personal loans, basically every type of debt there is, outside of mortgages. Mortgages and credit cards I don't touch, but everything else I'm plugging those holes: car loans, boat loans, consolidation loans, personal loans, that kind of stuff. And when the pandemic hits, everybody just starts buying cars for some reason, and we got flooded, man. There were not nearly enough people to answer, our customer service needs. So I got on TikTok literally just to help alleviate what's going on with my job, and I start giving people tips on how to buy a car because I was fed up. Like I got on the internet to complain about my job basically, while also trying to tell people like, guys, this is what you need to do to buy a car. Don't do these things before you go to a dealership, and blah 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 blah. And 4 videos in, I get 100,000 views overnight. It was like, what the heck? you know?
Yeah.
By my 8th video, the 8th video in the car buying series, that video got over 1 million views overnight.
Unbelievable.
And it's like, what is happening here? And in the time that, like, because I only planned on releasing 10 videos on how to buy a car. Like I structured it all out. I knew that I could cover all of this in 10 1-minute videos. And in the process of making these videos, I've got people asking me about, okay, well, what's a good credit card for this? How can I build my credit to get a good rate on a car loan? Do you know about investing? what's a good bank to do? Like, what's a good high yield savings account? And I'm like, I'm getting all of these questions in finance that I've been studying for the past 2.5, 3 years. It's like, I can tell people how to avoid making the mistakes that I made. So let's go down this road. And
Yeah.
by early summer, well, okay, let me back up just a tiny bit. I hit 10,000 followers before the week ended. I started on a Monday. By Friday, I had 10,000 followers, and I'm like, whoa, this is the weirdest, craziest thing that's ever happened to me.
Wow.
Um, so I kept running with it. I kept building off of all of these questions that I was getting in my comment section. I went live every single day. Um, and we just built this crazy, amazing community. People that are here right now, 2 years later, I've got Keith, I've got Marty, I've got Crazy Jay. Like, these are people that have been with me since the beginning. Like, they saw my blow up. And they've been incredible. And I love them for it. That's when I first found my car buying tips from my guy in finance. Love my boy. I freaking love you, Crazy Jay. Um, yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that. And by December, I had hit like 250,000 followers, and I was like, this is something that I can really I can leverage this. Um, and then fast forward to March of 21. I I'm comfortable sharing this because like it's out there. I've talked about this on podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, the GameStop and AMC thing happens with Robinhood. This was
Yeah.
the catalyst of where I realized I'm really onto something here. Um, I made a video the day that it happened, criticizing Robinhood while also promoting a company called Webull. And I had just joined Webull's creator program, and this video goes like, it doesn't go like massively viral, but it gets like 160,000 views in like 24 hours or so. Over 5,000 people signed up for this through my affiliate. They signed up for Webull through my affiliate, and I was getting $30 per affiliate. So
Wow.
do the math on that if you'd like. It's pretty simple math. Um, and that's when I was like, oh, this can legitimately be a career. Correct.
I
um,
have four decimal places because it's a finance calculator, so it looks like a shit ton of zeros.
yeah,
150,000 if anyone's curious.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
And I was like, okay, we're really onto something here. Then brands like Webull took a special interest in me because like I got all these signups for them. So like we started talking. We worked out something better, better compensation. Um, and then other brands started reaching out because like I was just continuously going viral. Um, and then in April, I became vested at my job, and the day after I became vested, for those of you who don't know what vesting is, it's where you get to keep the contributions that an employer puts into your retirement. Like my
Mm-hmm.
pension, I got to keep what they had contributed to my pension,
Mm-hmm.
and I also got to keep their contribution to my 401k. That's what I was staying for. It was only like another month or so before I became vested, so like why would I leave that money on the table? Um, so I became vested in my company, put in my 2 weeks the day after, worked out my final 2 weeks, and became a full time content creator. Um, and I've been doing that for a little over a year now. And I mean, I've now worked with brands like Kelly Blue Book. I've worked with multiple investing platforms. Um, I've literally traveled all over the country. I've gone to New York 30-ish times since last October. I've been out to LA like 5 times. I've been down to Orlando, been out to Vegas, all content creation related. Multiple conferences, meeting up with other creators. I've been up to Colorado twice to see Dr. Brad. I've been to Cincinnati to see John E. Finance. Been up to New York, God knows how many times. I met Erica Kohlberg, became really good friends with Erica. Erica and I have spent a good portion of the last 3 months traveling together and becoming friends and working on all this crazy stuff revolving around our content. I'm involved in a bet with Erica right now, as well as Macy, who is Graham Stephan's fiance, John Erringman, John E Finance, and Ecom Jess, where like we're all involved in this little bet that we've got going on to make sure that we're posting consistently. Like I got to meet Colin at freaking VidCon. Like that's amazing. That was out in LA too. Like all of these crazy things where I get to meet up with incredible people, all because I went bankrupt 5 years ago. Without
Who
that,
it's
without
it's
that
like it's
catalyst,
like Tim
like
Cook said, or Steve Jobs, like in his famous Stanford speech, like you can never connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards in your life.
yeah, absolutely. Because like if that catalyst had not happened, if I hadn't screwed up at Walmart and gotten fired, nobody would know who I am. You and I would not be having this conversation. I would have continued to dedicate my life to Walmart. Thank God Walmart fired me.
Let's go. So, if anyone is going through struggles right now, one door closing just means another one is opening.
Absolutely.
That's incredible, man. Such a cool story. I'm like, honestly, I have goosebumps. It's like just incredible.
Thank you for pushing me to jump on live and tell that, because like that's the first time I've given like a step by step process of that entire story.
I've been really thinking a lot about like long form content and stuff like that, and like, doing more engaging stuff like this and connecting with people. And this is recorded. So, I mean, it feels like this is like such an organic way to like almost create a podcast or to like create long form content. Like, I don't know if you'd ever want to do this again, but this is kind of my secret, like, evil plan of creating either a podcast or long form content is doing lives and just having a blast and seeing where the conversation goes. I had no idea you and I were going to be talking, let alone, hearing this heartfelt story and so inspiring story an hour ago. It's just so cool.
Right? Yeah, dude. I walked in. I walked in the door after driving for 7 hours coming home from Nashville. I
Yeah.
open up my package from Amazon, see that I've got my new pink polo, and I see that you're online, and I'm like, ooh, let's see what's going on. I didn't even, like, I was just planning on watching you.
Yeah.
And you invited me in. I was like, oh, why not? Let's spend
Yeah.
5-10 minutes talking to Colin. And here we are, an hour and a half later. And I've opened up to you more than I've ever opened up to anybody, along with this amazing audience that we've got watching along with us. And Tanya's here. I love you guys so much. Great story. So glad I caught this. Sending lots of love from this side of the Godwin family. Cody, I freaking love you. I love Cora. I miss you guys, and Aunt Wendy and Uncle Jason. I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining.
Finance engineer on my end joined, said, love these creators.
Oh,
Jonathan's
Imran.
here. Yep.
I love Imran too. I got to meet him at FinCon as well, and he's such a wonderful human being.
Definitely seems like it. We chatted on a live with, I am failing to remember his username, who does, he shares his net worth. And I think he's from Ohio. And he's had a couple posts pop off about how much he spends and where his net worth is at. He does those lives where the net worth is in the background. Another fantastic creator.
Is it the only people I know from Ohio that create content are there's Johnny Finance, Budget Dog, and then oh god, the guy who with the vending machines. I can see him. His name's Brandon, but I can't think of his username.
Oh, Dollars with Drew. Jonathan just helped me out
Dollars
there.
with Drew. Nice.
And Jonathan was on there.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing, dude. You've built an entire ecosystem around going live, haven't you?
I don't do it as much as I should, but it's kind of a fun thing. I've repurposed it a few times. I've chatted with Dr. B before and posted that entire chat on YouTube, and it feels like it's maybe could lead to other types of content, because it'd be sad to think like this conversation just dies after this. You know, it's just such a inspiring piece. I mean, thanks to you. So like, I'd hope more people could hear that and get fired up.
It was really cool to talk about, because like I haven't done the math on how crazy in debt I was. I did not, like, I've never, after it happened, I was like, screw this, let's learn from it, never do it again. I don't care about what happened. We're done. It's in the past. Let's move on. That's the first time I've ever like seen it written out or really thought about just the, like, how bad of a decision and multiple decisions I made. It's crazy to see where it started.
Yeah, I hear you, man. One thing I did actually on a live just before Aaron, because I was playing around with the whiteboard. I just got this whiteboard, and actually it's literally on its side. You can kind of see that it's like supposed to be a vertical one, but it sits really nicely on this desk. And one thing that I was kind of playing around with is that when I've been going live in the past, I've just been sharing my computer screen. And what I simply do in these lives, and I'll often do this, is like I'll talk about, here we are at age, 28 or whatever, and we want to retire at age 58. And then, of course, you live until age 95 before you become an angel or whatever. So trying to figure out, like, okay, here we are at 28, and our income is, let's say, 100,000, and let's say that taxes are 20,000, and then maybe you're saving 15% to the 401k. So then left over, you're at 80, 70, 65,000, and that's your net income. And just talking about, like, okay, if that's your net income at 65,000, we can bring that up here and say, what is 65,000 going to be at age 58? And I've just kind of been walking through, like, hey, 65,000 in present value, if we assume 3% inflation, and that's a 30-year period, right? So in 30 years, you're going to have to be spending $157,000 to buy the same stuff. So, like, how the heck do you get that? Well, the answer to solve for this is that we got to have some investments, right? We got to have a pile of assets that are going to pay you $157,000.
Right. So how do we get those assets?
Ding, ding, ding. Exactly. So that's what I've been kind of using the whiteboard for and just having fun. And maybe you'll be one of my victims someday and kind of going through the numbers, which actually, if you wanted to do a rough draft, it'd be kind of fun. I don't know what you're talking
about. I have no idea.
Do
That's
you
something
want
I
to
should
play with it?
probably do. What's that?
Should we play with it? This will be part 2 of our live.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it in like. Do you know what time it is? Hold on, I've got my watch over here.
Yeah.
It's 6:19. I've got like 10 minutes. I've got
Okay.
10. Yeah, let's do a rough draft. Sure.
Let's do it. So we got to start from the top here. Of how old is Seth?
Seth is 28, so that's a good example.
I nailed that. Okay. Okay. So is 58 an okay retirement, or when do you want to retire? Let's just make this about.
Seth's plan to retire is by 35.
Let's go, baby. All right. So
Keith, it was good to see you, brother.
We are going to retire at 35. So we got 7 years to build wealth.
Yep.
What do you think your living expenses are today?
This is where it gets complicated because this year has been the craziest, most expensive, most travelingest year of my life. This is not a normal year for Seth.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably spent, if I had to go back and look, I've probably spent about $70,000 traveling this year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm used to living off of about $35,000 to $40,000 a year.
Okay.
And I will never, I can say this confidently, I will never have another year like this. I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
You're like a consultant.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
That's probably a lot of business travel, though. So you're probably being able to write that off against your income.
Yes, absolutely. I can confidently say that 90% of that can easily be written off. The other 10%, I'm sure, can be written off. I just need somebody who's smarter than me to do it.
Well, let's do something like this then. What do you think an average income year would look like for the next 7 years? Average, ballpark.
Ballpark, I'm going to say 200.
Okay. So 200.
Look who is live. Seth is very expensive. Seth is very expensive. Good to see you, John.
True. So 200, and then right off the top, we can less out taxes, which as a self-employed individual, you get to pay quite a bit in payroll taxes and everything. Do you happen to use a solo LLC, or are you like a sole prop or an S corp by chance?
It's an LLC.
Perfect. Okay. So then let's go ahead and just say that we're paying probably in the like effective 30% range on taxes. So taxes are probably going to be about 60,000. So now we can at least get to, and then do you have any other business expenses that we want to add on there that you're probably doing?
Yeah, travel wise, I don't see it happening again. I'm not getting like a company car or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super low maintenance, and my videos are too, and I think that speaks for itself there. I don't think I'm gonna have like any crazy business expenses like outside of dinners and travel. So I could see myself doing, let's just say 25K in business expenses.
Okay.
And I think that's pushing it.
Perfect. So that means our take home, we're going to do 200 less 60 less 25. We have around 115,000 that we can play with. What do you think of that is going to have to go towards savings, and what of that goes towards living expenses?
So as of right now, I have everything automated, and it's like it's 10%. I know for sure is going into savings, and then 20% is going directly into just ETFs and index funds and target date funds.
Investing, we'll call it.
Let's call it investing.
Okay. And I'll probably just end up using both of those numbers for your retirement goal.
Sure.
Is that all we're saving, or does money pile up in the bank that's kind of left over?
Money piles up just depending on what's going on month after month. God, I should probably find out exactly how much. This has been eye-opening without even saying anything.
That's cool. This is fun, though.
This is fun. God, I couldn't even tell you. That's the bad part. I'm just throwing every bit of extra money that I have into investing. Because like my emergency fund, my bank account is full. What full? I'll say I have about 50 in cash. Anything above that at the end of every month just gets thrown in. Like I put like it was just under 20K in my portfolio like at the end of September.
Okay. Well, if we did, is it 10%, by the way, of the net number or of the gross number? Like, is it 20,000 for savings because it's 10% of the top number? Or...
It is off of the net because I am putting money aside for taxes separately.
Perfect. Okay. So basically, let's just go ahead and use real numbers then. So it's 10% saving, 20% investing. So we're going to say it's 11,050 for saving. And then what would that be twice? 23,000.
Yeah.
Investing.
So last month it was closer to like 40, 43.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So even if we did this in 15,
yeah.
Now we're down already to 80,500. I'm guessing you're not spending all 80,500.
No.
What do you think is like 20 of that going to savings and you're spending 60?
God, I don't even think I'm doing that, man.
Yeah.
This year has just been this is an abnormal year.
Okay.
Realistically, I can live off of. I mean, I lived off of 24K for a few years. That sucked.
But you want to live,
but I don't. I think I can easily. Actually, I know I can easily live off of 50. And that's the number I've been using. What's that?
Would that be a lifestyle that you're cool with? 50,000?
Oh yeah, easily. Like
okay.
Stupid easily.
Okay. So let's do 50,000 in present value. We'll inflate it at 3% for 5 years or 7 years. That means that we need to be spending 61,500 is our living expense goal. Basically, we need to pay you 61,500 per year for the rest of your life.
Yep.
All right. We've identified if we took that 50,000, that means we basically have like 30,000 left over to save and invest. So let's go ahead and kind of consolidate our math now. We're going to say that we are saving 11,500, 23,000, and then there's an additional savings of 30,000 down here. Is that fair?
That's absolutely fair.
All right. So we're saving 30, 50,000, 50,000, 53,000, call it 64,500. So 64,500 is what we're investing per year right now. How much do we have saved currently?
I've got 240, let's call it 244. It's like it's so close to that 250 mark.
244 plus, what did I just say? 63,000?
Yep.
63,500 plus 60. So we have 240 plus 63,500 per year for 7 years. Where does that get us?
Oh God, don't ask me to do long math.
Oh no, we have to grow it because it's not just 63 times 7. We're growing
Right.
it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 64 or 244,000 as the present value. 244,000. We're going to do 63,500 as the annual payment. Anyone could do this that is following along on a future value calculator. If that's cool with you, we'll just grow the money at 8%.
Very
And we're
safe.
for 7 years. That means we are going to have ready for the drum roll?
I'm close.
Very, very close. But now here's the deal. Can that provide you 61,500 per year?
Nope. Sure can't.
Because we need to multiply that basically by, what I like to do is usually about 4%. So
I've got a lot of. I'm not gonna interrupt. But I want to let everybody in my comments know I'm reading you, and I have responses for you. I promise.
All right, Seth. So what's really cool though about this is that if you withdrew 4% per year, that would be 39,200. That's really not that big of a gap to our 61,500 goal. You really only need to have a part-time job earning $22,300 a year. If you can earn $22,300 a year, my friend, you can pretty much retire at 35.
Oh yeah. And the great thing about this, Colin, is that the 200 is pretty conservative for what I'm doing, and I think that's a decent average. But yeah. Oh, Drew's here. Dollars with Drew is here. How
Let's go.
ironic. I
I was
love
just
that.
talking about him.
That's awesome. Oh, Mark is here too. Oh my gosh. Mark, I miss you. Mark, are you still in Alaska? But anyway, yeah. So the good thing is that a majority of my income, and again, we're using numbers for this year, for a lot of those. I'm not traveling as much this year. Or I'm not traveling as much as I did this year in following years. Because I can't. I would probably drop dead. Like literally, like the bags under my eyes. I've started saying, "Don't worry, they're designer," because it's just, it's disgusting how much sleep I've lost this year. But it's been good. It's been good for business. I made a lot of connections, and it's because of those connections that I made that I'll be able to, justify predicting with those numbers. Anyway,
100%.
yeah. So it's been a great year. Just won't do it again. So, and my brand deals, provided that I continue to grow as a creator on all of my other platforms, while be able to justify a higher price. So, this is just just spitballing here. So that 200 realistically, it provided I have the growth that I should have. I'm not entitled to anything, but these are just the predictions that I made.
Yeah.
That 200 hopefully will turn into 500 by the time 35 rolls around. And then
Totally.
everything is just butter after that. Everything else that I do is just butter and gravy.
I have a hard time believing that you won't make 22,000 a year on accident.
Right. So that's where I'm at. That's this has been fun to just kind of predict and spitball, so I appreciate that. I love doing stuff like this. We need to go live together way more often.
This is a ton of fun. I mean, just hearing your story and we're bouncing questions and ideas off each other. It's a great time.
I feel like I took over your live stream though.
I was already done. I was actually just wrapping up. Aaron just hopped off, so it just defaulted to me by myself, and I was just answering a couple questions that I missed, and then you jumped on, and we went in a whole other direction. So it's been
Boy,
awesome.
did we ever. I wanted to address some of these comments real quick before I hopped off.
Time. Yeah, absolutely.
So 1974 Ford Pinto wagon, another one of the OGs, says depends so much on where you live, which I could not agree more with. So these are numbers that I've run with Jesus, with living in Florida.
Yeah.
Basically the same area that I'm in right now. I'm sure I won't stay here forever. But I'm just, wherever I do move, it's going to be, the tax structures are going to be very similar to Florida. I've looked at Tennessee. I've looked at Cincinnati. I've looked at Ohio, not Cincinnati, but just Ohio, period. And then, what's that?
Michigan. I'm moving back to Michigan in a little bit.
Oh, dope. Do you have a time frame?
Probably in the summer next year.
Oh, so it's soon. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, best of luck there. They also said, I could live off of 50K solo, but no way with kids. Another incredible point. And Maudie chimes in and says, that's what I'm saying. This is a very vanilla calculation without a variety of flavors. Also agreed. That's, this is a very ballpark. We went into this knowing these were not going to be exact numbers. Yeah. But to address that, I don't really have any plans of having kids. Maybe we'll end up getting married someday. I don't know. We'll see. Dollars with Drew said, hello, fellow investors. That's a very Jonathan thing to say. I like that. Good to see you, Drew. Marky Boy's here. Hey, guys. Finance guy here from Florida. Florida Mike, good to see you. Getting all the traveling in now? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Come to Cincinnati. That's where I live. Yeah, Drew, we were actually talking about you earlier, and we were talking about Ohio and Cincinnati specifically because of your live with Colin a little while back. Later companies will have more ad revenue after the bear market. Another great point, Jonathan. A lot more, and they're good. I mean, fintech companies are a dime a dozen. There are more popping up every day. So there's always going to be more opportunities for more advertisements and more companies to advertise for. Jonathan, I respect you and I respect where you live. So I don't say this with any hatred, but I will never live in Louisiana. I will visit New Orleans every now and then. FinCon is there next year. So, Colin, I better see you there next year.
Cool.
And Jonathan, I mean, you're really close. I think you're within an hour of Louisiana. You've been saying that you want to go. Perfect opportunity, brother. Come on through. It's going to be at the big Marriott hotel that's in the middle of Louisiana, or the middle of New Orleans. Can't miss it. It's literally I think it's the tallest building in New Orleans. So yeah, I better see you there.
Yeah, that's going to be a ton of fun.
Hell yeah. But I'm going to get off here because I'm tired.
I bet, dude. I don't know how you're a machine for jumping on in general, but I kind of dragged you into this, so.
No, dude, this was fun. I'm glad that you did. I got to see the math of how horrible off financially I was a few years ago. I got to tell my story in full. We got to find out if my retirement plan is feasible. I mean, this was fun, and I get to talk to my buddy. Like that's above all else, regardless of what we do. I got to talk to you.
Let's go. Ton of fun, man. Oh, the last thing I'll leave you with here is that, and you might be interested in this. There is a software out there that I'm introducing right now and rolling out to my clients. It's called Elements, and it is a monitoring system. So what I just did was more planning, solve for type things. When can you retire? Blah, blah, blah. This monitoring system is super light. It's kind of like a mint.com, but it tracks things a little bit differently. And then it creates scorecards, and everybody's scorecards are measured the same way. So I could look at your scorecard and it will measure things like savings rate. I don't know what your income necessarily is, but I know what percentage of your gross income you save.
Sure.
And I know what percentage you spend on living expenses, what percentage you spend on debt. And it's been a really healthy, easy way to just like see a client scorecard, be able to make a quick comment. And I thought about creating a whole new and paying for a separate email and a separate advisor platform, and then just like rolling it out to, I don't know, 1,000 people and just creating this like financial monitoring community. And I haven't like really landed on a price or even like what I want it to look like, but at some point would love to like pick your brain on that. It's kind of like, so someone just commented Mint or YNAB that you need a budget. It's very similar to that, but in my opinion, it's not nearly as invasive. Like I don't budget. I'm a terrible budgeter. I don't spend the time to go in and categorize. And quite frankly, I don't really think that you need to, because my fundamental issue with budgeting is that you could be within budget and still not be on track to retire. You could still, spend $10 on whatever movie tickets, and be perfectly fine, but still not be on track for your goals. So this is more of like a big picture, like non-budgeting, but still tracking and monitoring. Um, I'm going to get a couple reps under my belt first, and like I've brought on a lot of clients, but I've never rolled it out to the public. And I have a few buddies that have been like, "Yo, I can't afford full on financial planning, but I would love to like have a place to go for like simple tips and tricks and monitoring." And this feels like, I don't know, it's just kind of a scratch I'm trying to itch of like just rolling this out to maybe having 100, 200, 1,000. There's really no limit to how many people could be on this platform. So curious, yeah, would love to kind of run that past you in the future, near future here.
Yeah, dude, I love the concept. I'm on board. Whatever you decide to do with it, let me know what I need to do, and I'm happy to do it.
I think it would be really fun. And what's nice is that I'm planning to do it. If I did it, I would do it as a non RIA, so like non like CFP, non advisor platform, so that people could be like coaches in the community and like be like in charge, and like I don't know. My mind is raced with like affiliate deals and stuff like that, but like I feel like that's even getting more complicated than I even wanted it to be. I just wanted to like when clients come in or people ask like, "Hey, can you help me out?" And I don't want to be able to just say no, go talk to a life insurance agent. Like, I want to be able to say I can't help you out maybe one on one, but what I can do is like give you access to this software, and here's 5 videos that teach you how to use it, and just learn how to do simple monitoring and making sure you're on track.
Dude, I love it.
I do too.
Legitimately.
I was freaking fired up when I was thinking about it, and there's a couple other advisors that are doing something similar, and I'm just like, it's the easiest, lightest thing that I have found, and I think I could roll it out for something super cheap, like $15 a month or like something like that. And like maybe do once a month live sessions and just like getting people excited and teaching them how to use it. I love it myself. And like my wife is not into finances. She would say her financial plan is to marry a financial planner. And, but like this just consolidates things into like such easy to read things. And if you just asked around the streets, how many people do you think would be able to know what percentage of their income is being saved or spent? Like just knowing that kind of just allows you to like either spend guilt-free, or maybe you got to actually rein it in a little bit. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of the next project I'm working on.
That's, dude. I wanna know all about this, and let me know. Yeah, just keep me in the loop because you've got me excited about it.
Let me DM you. What's a good email? And I'll just actually invite you to the platform so for free, and you can just check it out and like link your accounts if you want. Um, I don't know if you're open. You probably don't want to say it over.
Yeah, send me a text or a DM. I think yeah, I'm pretty sure I have your number.
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
think I. Yeah, we'll just text.
yeah. Um, D Schwan says, "Hey Seth, what platform are you on the most? I haven't seen you on TikTok as much as I used to. To be honest with you, Dustin, I haven't been posting as much. I didn't post for about a month and a half, and that's why Erica and I started this bet with each other. Uh, so I've been actively posting again for about a week. Um, so there's that. There you go. TikTok is still my most active platform. I'm on Instagram, same username, just at Seth Godwin. I have a YouTube channel, but I don't really use it. But I will in the coming year, in 2023. And the last thing I have to leave with all of you fine people is, gentlemen, this is specifically for the guys, get a bed frame with a headboard. All right. It makes all the difference in the world. Thank you all for being here. Colin, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Mwah. I love you all. Have a wonderful evening.
See you, Seth.
Peace out.
Nice. Well, that was a ton of fun. Seth is the man. There's a couple questions in here that I left out, so I thought I'd quick run through them and then probably take off as well. So let's see. 50,000 of expenses. Yeah, I know, right? Making 150,000 on a one video and you'll retire in no time. The problem with business expenses is that they still are expenses, right? You know, just because you might get a little bit of tax savings on that, you're not able to save it, right? So it's still not a wealth building tool. You know, what would you recommend for a medical student with 7%, 180,000 debt, retirement planning? That's tough, man. 7% is right on the fence of where I hate debt. If it was much higher, it would be easy to tell you to just go pay off the debt. But at 7%, it's kind of on the fence. I feel like I'd want to knock out some tax advantageous accounts and then start paying it off. I really can't speak to that too much because I don't know your situation, of course. So take that with a big grain of salt, but I'd probably do maybe it depends on your income too. I mean, if your income's really high and you're able to save a lot of money on deferring money to a 401k or something like that, it's that might be slightly more advantageous than paying down the debt, potentially refinancing. So you didn't spend it, your business did, right? Yep, exactly. Watching as a teacher, yeah, teacher incomes are probably not going to be in the 200 range. What do you do for a living? Seth is a content creator full-time, and I am a financial planner. Skyline. All right, cool. Well, I think that's going to pretty much do it, everyone. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.